Rebecca, why is fostering a positive and supportive work environment for people with serious illness important?
Well, for most of us, our work life is a huge part of our life. We spend an enormous amount of time doing our jobs and with the people that we work with. And so the more that people are being diagnosed with illnesses earlier and can get treatment sooner and can manage and maintain and recover from those experiences, which is what we're seeing the trend be, the more those stories are going to come into our workplace. And so to elevate that conversation and make sure that workplaces are equipped to support someone going through that, as well as their coworkers, is really important.
Can you tell us more about the survey results?
Absolutely. Cancer and Careers, for the first time this year, did a survey of coworkers who had worked with someone who was diagnosed with a serious medical condition. And we really learned some interesting things about the coworker experience, and I think the data shows that there's a real opportunity for companies to make some changes or better communicate what they're already doing to help their employees. So what we heard from coworkers included that 88% had concerns about their own ability to support a coworker with a serious medical condition. They didn't feel equipped to do that, whether it was offering emotional support, respecting privacy, taking on some of the work-related tasks. They didn't really know what to do if a colleague was diagnosed. They also had some concerns about their management's ability to manage someone with a serious illness on staff. In fact, 59% indicated that they weren't confident in their company's leadership when it came to supporting a colleague with a serious medical condition. And in fact, nearly 1 in 5 said what they witnessed made them less loyal to their company. So there's some real opportunity here if we take those profound survey results and think about what we can do to improve things for both the diagnosed person as well as their coworkers.
And Kathy, what are some ways to provide support when your coworker has a serious illness such as cancer?
Well, from my own experience as a survivor and from the work that I've done with the people in Cancer and Careers, we found that making sure that the individual with the serious diagnosis has the opportunity to decide how much to disclose, and then working with the employer to build really a strategy on how they're going to manage their work. What mine did in my case was help me juggle my workload around my chemo and my radiation treatments. Some people find that they need to curtail their travel, so perhaps they can build in more conference calling or webinars instead of having to go to meetings. Making sure that if you're going to, as a coworker, offer support in some way, to ask how much help do you need and not make assumptions about the individual with cancer. A lot of times the individual just wants to have a little bit of privacy, but they certainly could use some support in the workplace from time to time. So ask specifically, what is it that I can do to help you? Do you need help with that meeting? Is there some workload that I can pick up for you? And making sure that they encourage and are positive, but not making the diagnosis the focus of all the interactions with the individual. I think respecting somebody's privacy, but at the same time offering support and encouragement are some critical pieces.
Rebecca, what can employers and managers do to be more helpful?
It's a great question, and I think obviously lots of things, but 3 that come immediately to mind are making sure that the company has reviewed its policies and procedures and benefits through the lens of supporting an employee who's diagnosed with a serious illness. Those kinds of things are put together with the best hope that they're going to work and create a good experience for an individual employee who may have to use them, but sometimes there are gaps. And so making sure that things are working as intended, considering additional benefits that might be helpful, like, for instance, a leave bank for someone who needs to be able to draw more time off, that their coworkers could donate some of their own time off. Maybe that's a pretty easy addition to the suite of benefits. So really looking at what's already offered and making sure it feels comprehensive. Communication is really important. Often employees don't actually know what's available to them until they're in crisis, and then it's hard to piece it together because most of us don't revisit our hiring documents or our employee handbook after we have joined a job. So it's easy to not be fully aware of what's out there, and it's a disservice to the employer who has actually worked very hard to create those suite of benefits to not continue to make sure that their employees are aware of them. And then lastly, it is very much the case that managers aren't typically trained to be managers in terms of actually overseeing people. So training managers who are on the front line on some of these issues so that if one day one of their direct reports comes in and reveals an illness, they know what the next step is, what the expectations are from the company, what they should do, so that they aren't lost in a drift, just as the person who's gotten some earth-shattering news is also trying to piece together what happens next.
And so, in closing, Rebecca, where can we go to learn more about navigating work after a serious medical diagnosis or get more information to help those who are in need?
I would send people to the Cancer and Careers website, which is cancerandcareers.org, where there is information for a person who's been diagnosed themselves, but also coworkers, managers, HR, and then I would take it from there.
Ladies, thanks again for being with us today to share this important information. We appreciate it.
Thank you.